8 years have passed since that day. A new Fukushima is starting to take shape in towns where people have worked together on restoration and revitalization. This program focuses on the continuing challenges of Fukushima today. Fukushima Prefecture suffered catastrophic damage from the earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear accident. The restoration and revitalization of evacuated areas is a top priority issue. Apart from the difficult-to-return zone, evacuation orders have now been lifted in most evacuation-designated zones. In difficult-to-return zones, the decontamination and demolition of houses is being carried out to establish special zones for reconstruction and revitalization. Steady progress is being made, one step at a time, in the reconstruction and revitalization of evacuation zones. Moreover, all surface decontamination within the prefecture to restore the environment has been completed, except in difficult-to-return zones. Progress is also being made in transporting contaminated soil, for example, from temporary storage locations to an interim storage facility. The air radiation doses in most regions of Fukushima Prefecture are at about the same level as in major cities around the world. But even now, over 40,000 people remain evacuees. Progress is being made in the construction of disaster recovery public housing in an effort to offer stability in the lives of as many citizens as possible. As for healthcare, Futaba Medical Center was opened as a central facility in the evacuation zone. Moreover, to bolster their emergency medical care system, they began operating a multi-purpose helicopter. Restoration work began on 98% of damaged public work facilities, and 94% of them have been completed. In addition to restoring the 8 main roads propping up the restoration of the evacuation-designated zones, where evacuation orders have been lifted, the Joban Expressway has been expanded to 4 lanes. The JR Joban line has also been striving to reopen its entire line as quickly as possible. Disaster mitigation green zones were established behind reconstructed tide embankments in coastal areas to create a multiple defense system in restoring towns, so they are highly resistant to disasters. In restoring coastal disaster prevention forests, they were expanded to widths of around 200 meters, and Japanese black pine trees were planted to make them more disaster resistant. In 2018, Their Majesties the Emperor and Empress planted trees in an area struck by the Great East Japan Earthquake, designated as a National Tree Planting Day venue for the first time. As for coastal fishing in Fukushima, test operations have been expanding to restore Joban Mono, which have won high appraisal at markets around the country, and efforts to revive full-scale operations have been accelerating. In Iitate Village 2, where everyone had been forced to evacuate, trial grazing has begun in an effort to revive their brand beef. Fostering human resources to lead the restoration and establishing an educational environment to allow people to take on challenges to realize their dreams are also keys to the rebirth of Fukushima. Fukushima Prefectural Futaba Future School where the first students graduated in the spring of 2018, opened a junior high school in the spring of 2019. It's the start of a completely new form of integrated education, which will foster global human resources during the 6 years students spend at junior and senior high schools. Moreover, elementary and junior high schools that had been forced to reopen in places of refuge, including the elementary school in Namiya Town, have moved back to their former locations in 10 cities, towns, and villages by the end of FY 2018. In restoring Fukushima, the people of the prefecture have a strong wish to see the decommissioning of all nuclear power plants within the prefecture. TEPCO has announced that it will specifically consider this in their policies. Taking steps toward restoration, reconstruction, and beyond. The Fukushima Innovation Coast Framework is one of the new policies aimed at creating a new future. New industrial bases will be established centered on the Hamadori region. Technology for disaster response robots will be developed in collaboration with companies in the region at the Fukushima Robot Test Field. Before full-scale operation, tests have already begun on a variety of cutting-edge technologies. A facility has also been established for research on the shift to next-generation energy. The rebirth of Fukushima is starting to take shape through the development of world-leading technologies. Fukushima Pride is the name for Fukushima agricultural, forest, and fishery products, packed with the pride of producers who strive to deliver safe and delicious foods. Safety is assured through thorough measures against radioactive substances during production and multiple inspections at every step, including before distribution. Exports of agricultural products from the prefecture, including peaches, have exceeded amounts exported before the earthquake. The earthquake further boosted the enthusiasm of producers, and their products have won high appraisal overseas too. Sake from Fukushima too have won the most number of gold prizes at the National New Sake Appraising and Deliberating Fair over 6 consecutive years for the first time in Japan. Overseas, they have also been awarded the title of being the best in the world. A major driving force behind the rebirth of Fukushima is the collaboration between people who care for the prefecture. They are promoting the Fukushima of today and its charms in a variety of situations within and outside the prefecture. Young people are also being fostered to carry the future of Fukushima on their shoulders. Some high school students acquired GAP certification from a desire to provide agricultural products grown in the prefecture at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games. There are also young people who have created new value in traditional products. The challenges of the youth of Fukushima are starting to blossom in a variety of fields. In the upcoming Tokyo 2020 Games, Fukushima Prefecture has been chosen as the starting point for the Olympic torch relay. Fukushima will also host the baseball and softball tournaments, which will kick off the Olympic Games. Fukushima has also been designated as a host town, and as such, it will play an important role in this major event by welcoming many people. J-Village returned to full operation in April 2019 after a long period of being closed for use as a forward base to battle the nuclear accident. The number of visitors from overseas increased dramatically in 2018, far exceeding the numbers recorded before the earthquake. It's hoped that many people from within and outside the prefecture will visit Fukushima directly to see today's Fukushima for themselves. That's what will help the restoration and creation of Fukushima. Today, Fukushima is continuing its effort to recover from the earthquake and take on the challenges of realizing its rebirth as a prefecture filled with the dreams, hope, and smiles of people.